For many of football's world-class players, ages 18 to 20 is when their breakout or recognition arrives. Lionel Messi was already getting first-team action at Barcelona, Ronaldo had just signed for Manchester United, and Kylian Mbappe had won a World Cup. Then others like Kevin De Bruyne would break out a bit later, but were still playing for higher-end clubs in smaller leagues, as he did with Genk in the Belgian league. For Robert Lewandowski, the record-breaking number 9 we see today had a much tougher climb to the top, filled with several what-ifs and plenty of skeptics. Lewandowski always believed his talent was there, but it took several non-glamorous years and perfect timing for it all to come together. For someone whose entire family had athletic ability, with his father Krzysztof being a Polish judo champion and his mother playing volleyball professionally, Robert wasn't an athletic marvel early on in his career. His youth coach at Warsaw, Robert's first club, commented on how skinny he was, and by these pictures you can tell that his progression into adulthood still saw his frame as one that didn't stand out, and worse, could be a detriment as a striker that needed to hold off defenders. Despite this drawback, Robert moved on to two youth teams in the Warsaw area, Delta Warsaw and Legia Warsaw, the latter being his boyhood club and one of the most successful in Poland. The 2005-2006 season would be one of nightmares for Robert for two reasons. His father died of a heart attack when he was only 17, and after an injury-riddled season with Legia's youth team, he was told he wouldn't reach his previous levels of fitness, so the club released him. From this point, however, the steady climb to the top was just beginning. Lewandowski was banished to the outskirts of Warsaw and signed with a third-tier Polish club called Śląsk Pruszków, playing in front of crowds of only 2,000 people or less. At this point, Lewandowski had the elite finishing ability that we see today, but was still off the radar of any semblance of even the semi-big clubs. His body was still developing as an 18 and 19-year-old, and in his first season with Śląsk, he scored 16 goals in 29 appearances as he helped lead the club from promotion to the third tier of Poland to the second tier. As would be the case later in his career, he just improves year after year. He had 21 goals in 32 league appearances the following season, and was the top scorer in the second division, but Śląsk Pruszków barely missed promotion on goal differential to the Ekstraklasa, the top tier of Polish football. But Lewandowski had done enough to earn a spot there regardless, as he signed with first division club Lech Poznan for €380,000, who just so happened to be the main rival to Legia Warsaw. His first season with Lech Poznan saw Lewandowski tally 14 goals and 7 assists in 30 league games, and 20 goals and 12 assists in all competitions as the club got to the UEFA Cup third round against Udinese. In addition, Lewandowski would have 2 goals and 2 assists as Poznan went on to win the Polish Cup. Poznan finished third in the league, 2 points behind Legia Warsaw and 5 off of first. Before the season started, Lewandowski was offered to sign for newly promoted La Liga club Sporting Gijón by his agent, but the club turned him down. West Brom also made an inquiry for that winter window, but had no money to match what Poznan wanted. Like his second season with Śląsk Pruszków, the 2009-2010 season would be Lewandowski's best of his career to date. Poznan won the league title 13 points clear of Legia Warsaw, and Lewandowski finished with 18 league goals and 29 goal involvements in all competitions. He was the top scorer in the league and had 5 goals in the last 4 weeks of the season for Poznan to overtake first on the second to last match day. His success at the club was a bit of validation even against his own manager, Franciszek Smuda, who backed when scouting Lewandowski in 2006 before he signed for Śląsk Pruszków, felt like he had wasted a scouting visit on Lewandowski because he was unathletic and stiff, like a quote-unquote tree, in his view. The summer of 2010 would be the most important summer of Lewandowski's career, and one that has serious what-if potential if it went any other way than it did. As history goes, Lewandowski was being eyed by rising manager Jurgen Klopp in Borussia Dortmund, and signed for the club for a fee of around €4.75 million. But according to reports that came out both at the time and years later, Lewandowski was close to and in the final stages of agreeing to a move to Serie A side Genoa, but the club president overrode the sporting director and pulled the plug at the last minute right before the medical. He would have played under Gianpiero Gasperini, the current Atalanta manager who's the talk of football right now. But that wasn't even the craziest part of Lewandowski's summer. After heavy recruitment by Sam Allardyce and Blackburn Rovers, who were 10th in the Premier League the previous season, the two sides were close to a deal and the player was set to fly to the UK for a visit and a potentially sealed deal. The fee would have been around €8 million, more than double what Dortmund paid, but a volcanic eruption in Iceland cancelled all Northern European flights, and Lewandowski never visited Blackburn. Allardyce and chief scout Martin Glover wanted him badly, and were waiting for him to reschedule his flight, but with nearly a week of no air travel, Two Polish players on Dortmund who happened to be friends with Lewandowski sealed the deal in that time, Jakub Błaszczykowski and Lukas Piszczek. In his first season with Dortmund, Jurgen Klopp had Lewandowski play as a second striker much deeper than what he was used to, playing with his back to goal. His goal numbers dropped as a result, and he only had 9 goals and 4 assists in 43 appearances. But later, Klopp and Lewandowski both admitted that it made him better on the ball and more aware of how to use space and to make runs in behind with that second striker cam role. It was a necessary evolution, and after this season he would assume a center forward role pretty much every week. Most of the buzz around Dortmund at this time was centered around Mario Götze, who had 6 goals and 11 assists on the year. But the 11-12 season saw his true breakout on the biggest stages, with 22 league goals making him the third highest scorer in the Bundesliga, as well as tallying 10 assists. His epic performance in the DFB Pokal saw him score 7 goals, including a hat-trick against Bayern in the final which saw Dortmund do the double, winning the league and the Pokal in the same season. A match week 30 goal in the 77th minute versus Bayern saw Dortmund go 6 points clear with 4 to go, as Bayern headed into that game only 3 points off the top. The clutch goals this season were a highlight to any Dortmund fan, and his 30 goals and 12 assists in all comps was drawing major attention. 2012-2013 was the year most remembered for the Jurgen Klopp era, as Lewandowski's 36 goals and 13 assists in all comps was a big reason why. He was the second highest scorer in the league and had 10 goals and 2 assists in the Champions League, including the famous 4 goals in 1 game showcase against Jose Mourinho's Real Madrid. While Bayern would go on to beat Lewandowski and Dortmund in the final, he was no longer the skinny tree of old. He was drawing attention from the top clubs in Europe. And after wanting to move to Bayern in the summer of 2013, he played out his contract and left for Bayern on a free in the summer of 2014. And just recently, it was revealed that on December 9th, 2013, Real Madrid offered a €184,000 a week deal for Lewandowski with an €11 million signing bonus. He should be glad, in my opinion, that he turned that down. Like all of his stops, his initial season at Bayern wasn't as prolific as we had seen him, as only 17 league goals and 7 assists happened in 31 games. He did have 6 goals in the Champions League, but Bayern were knocked out by Barcelona in the semi-finals and to Dortmund in the DFB Pokal semis. The 15-16 season, however, really started to cement his legacy with Bayern by doing the Pokal and League double. He had 9 goals in the Champions League too, and despite losing again in the semi-finals to Atletico Madrid, this campaign was memorable for many reasons. He became the first player to hit 30 goals in a Bundesliga season since 1977, and had a ridiculous 5 goals in 9 minutes showcase against Wolfsburg, which set numerous world records such as the fastest hat-trick. This showcase will be one of the first things people remember about his career 20 years from now. He finished with 42 goals and 6 assists in all comps, as well as scoring 13 goals in the Euro 2016 qualifying for Poland, which was a joint record. I'll touch more on his international career in a bit. He repeated his 30-goal output the next season, finishing with 30-7 in the league and 43-10 in all comps. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was the leading scorer for Dortmund, as he had 31 on the year, but Lewandowski was the first player to score 30 in back-to-back seasons since the legendary Gerd Müller did it from 1972 to 1974. Bayern as a team won the league again but lost in the Pokal semi-finals to Dortmund and to Real Madrid in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. However, this was Lewandowski's best season to date, and he was still productive in the Champions League with 8 goals in 9 games and was holding up his end of the bargain. After dealing with some injuries the next year, he only finished with 29 goals in 17-18, but had 41 goals and 5 assists in all comps. This season, he wasn't in great form near the latter half of the Champions League campaign, which saw another semi-final exit to Real Madrid. In addition, Bayern also lost the DFB Pokal final to Eintracht Frankfurt, despite Lewandowski scoring. As one of the trendy underdog teams heading into the 2018 World Cup with Poland, Lewandowski was not himself as he failed to score in 3 group stage games, and Poland exited before the knockout stage. One of the criticisms of his career is his poor international record, as he's only scored twice in 8 European Championship games and 0 in 3 at the lone World Cup he's played in. He has been lethal in the qualifiers for both, but not so much when it's the real thing. The 2021 Euro sees Poland in a group with Spain and Sweden, so Poland will need the best Lewandowski. He has 61 goals in 112 matches for Poland, but it's when he scores them that will matter more. 18-19 was another par for the course season for the man now called the Body due to his freakish physical condition. 40 goals and 13 assists, including 2 in the DFB Pokal final and a win over Leipzig, left no doubt about who the best number 9 in the world was. I will mention that being married to Anna Lewandowska, a bronze medal karate competitor and a personal trainer, had to have helped him considering he was the second best athlete in his own house for a while. The two are now known as the Beckhams of Poland and are a great model for healthy living. As we arrive to the present day, Lewandowski is shattering the record books again this season with 34 league goals in 31 appearances and has 53 goals in 44 games in all competitions with 8 assists. His 13 goals and 4 assists in 7 Champions League games to date leaves him as the joint assist leader and goal leader, and his team is just 3 wins away from the treble if they can win the Champions League in 2 weeks' time. He has a chance to at least tie Cristiano Ronaldo's record of 17 goals in a Champions League campaign in addition. He has been the best player in 3 different competitions and deserves the Ballon d'Or, even though they are stupidly not awarding it this year. This is going to be the cherry on top to a career that has been earned the hard way, and it would be a shame if this is the only time he will ever have a chance to win it. The highest he's ever finished in voting is 4th, and that is really a shame when you think about it. Consider a few things as I end this video. He has scored at least 40 goals in all competitions in 5 straight seasons, something even the legendary Gerd Müller didn't quite achieve. Also, he has averaged at least 48 goal contributions for the last 9 seasons, making him undoubtedly the best striker of the past decade. Not bad for a guy who was mistakenly listed as a defender on his Poland debut, and a guy that very few clubs to start his career wanted any part of.